Yes Have Some Podcast is brought to you by Carnivorous Creations. Our good friend Mike Nelson has been making these incredible Ghostbusters props for a very long time. We've been talking about it for a long time. In fact, if you've been paying attention, you would know that I just got my brand new Proton Pack delivered to me at DragonCon. There's a video up on YouTube. You can see the pictures on Instagram. It is a one-of-a-kind. I'm telling you, this is the best Proton Pack I've ever owned. It's the best Proton Pack I'm ever going to own. And Mike was super cool. He was very communicative. He talked to me. He asked me questions. I personally had the best experience I've ever had getting a prop built for me because let's face it, these things are special. There's a lot of detail. We're picky, us collectors, us movie fans. We want the good stuff, and Carnivorous Creations delivers. Now, he not only does Ghostbusters Proton Packs and Proton Pack parts, he's getting into Ninja Turtles weapons coming later this year. He's got amazing prop displays, custom displays for your prop replicas. These things are huge. It's hard sometimes. You don't know even how to put it on a shelf. Mike at Carnivorous Creations is going to help you get your collection where you need it to be. So, check out carnivorouscreations.com. That's carnivorous with a K. You can also find them at Carnivorous Creations on Instagram and Facebook. Tell them Yes Have Some Podcast sent you and get yourself into a brand new Ghostbusters Proton Pack.
I don't want to grow up bomb. Do you want some?
Jurassic Park. Now playing the PS7.
Ecto goggles with Ecto Bomber, neutron blaster, and water zapper, each sold separately.
From the corner penthouse of Spook Central all the way to Star Killer Base, this is Yes Have Some Podcast.
You like? Yes, have some. Yes, have some.
You know, they told me you people were conceited douchebags.
The only place in the multiverse where you can love the book, hate the movie, but still buy all the toys.
I'm afraid you're just too darn loud.
I'm not looking for a friend. I'm looking for a Jedi Master.
Please remember to hold on to your butts and get ready to get stressed. With your hosts, Craig Goldberg, Abigail Gardner, and Jacob Walsh.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Yes Have Some Podcast. My name is Craig Goldberg. Thank you so much for joining us. Happy 4-year anniversary. Abigail Gardner, how are you feeling about that?
I wish that we were at a big dinner to celebrate that right now.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm very hungry.
Yeah, me too.
Very.
Well, I mean, technically, we will be on the actual
Anniversary. Day. Yeah, we're about a day early, but we're
Yeah.
all going to be together this weekend. We got some stuff coming up.
Apparently, in the United States, the traditional 4th anniversary gift is fruit and flowers.
Ooh.
Okay.
So, yeah, we could do that.
Well, I watched Midsommar, and I don't want any flowers.
I would, none of that fruit, none of those flowers.
Jake, what's up, man? How
I'll
are
take
you?
it. I'm good, man. I realized something, Craig. Me and you were on the phone with each other, and I was saying something about There Will Be Blood for some reason. I don't know why. Probably just because I always talk about it.
Right.
And you reminded me again of the fact that you have never seen it.
Right.
And I don't know if like maybe every other time you had said that to me, I just wasn't listening. But this time I was like, what?
It hit you like a ton of bricks.
It hit me, and I've been thinking about it, and it also made me realize that, you know, like I reference that movie probably every episode of the podcast.
Right.
And I'm always like, if somebody says, you know, a word or a phrase from the movie, I always kind of repeat it back in his voice.
Right.
And then I realized you have no idea.
No reference for it. Doesn't get it.
You haven't seen it, so you don't even. It doesn't register what I'm doing.
I saw that in the movie theater.
Yeah, honestly, whenever you do that in my head, I'm like, I don't know what's happening right now, but I respect it. No, it's
Abby,
on my list.
Abby, you saw that in the movie theater?
Yeah, way pre-Craig.
That's
It was like an
amazing.
art house theater
There
called
was
Terra
no
Theater in Atlanta.
Craig. Before me, the world didn't exist.
No.
We're watching it this weekend.
Yeah, it was long. I remember I went to Trader Joe's and got some food to bring in.
Oh,
'cause-
the Trader Joe's There Will Be Blood story.
Yeah,
Happy anniversary.
You literally never.
Everybody's very
Happy anniversary. Let's talk about a story before we met. Cool.
Well, here's a story before I met all of you. I was on the golf course. The round of my life.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to watch it this weekend. It's going to be fun. We're going to Days of the Dead.
Are we going to watch it together?
Possibly.
Cool.
Possibly.
Oh, good. That's
And
fun.
the entire time, every time Daniel Day-Lewis says anything, I'm going to be like, I don't know this reference. Like, I don't get it.
You'll be like, hey, is he referencing you?
Is he doing a Jake impression?
That's a Jake thing. That's
literally not.
Jake's
I guess he listens to the show.
I guess.
We'll watch it, Jake, but it'll be over 3 nights.
I always wonder that, like, what if, like, just randomly Daniel Day-Lewis was, like, a big fan of the podcast?
That would be literally incredible.
That would be ridiculous.
He'd be like, yeah, you guys are my inspiration.
Like whenever he gets into character, he just locks himself in a room for 18 hours and he just listens to the same episode of the podcast over and over.
What if I'm Daniel Day-Lewis and I'm just method acting Craig for the last 4 years?
Whoa.
Mind blown.
It's insane.
So listen, happy anniversary. Thank you so much to all of our listeners for sticking by, supporting us, all of that stuff. We're not going to spend too much time patting ourselves on the back because frankly, we're too busy.
My hands are tired.
There's too much going on. We've already been patting ourselves all day long.
There's been a lot of patting.
But Jake's going to be up this weekend. We are going to Days of the Dead Atlanta. We go every year. And
the infamous Days of the Dead.
Oh, we're back.
Listen.
And we back.
Linda Blair will be there. Will there be another interaction or are we done with the Linda Blair saga?
Well, here's the thing. She's too expensive for another interaction. Part of me wants to bring the stack. Part of me wants to try it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to
Part
do
of me
it.
is like, fuck it. Let's try it again. Let's try to get her to sign it again. But also, last time was kind of a good ending.
Right. It was good.
It was expensive. I don't want to pay for anything else from Linda Blair.
Okay.
Before we go any further on that, we should say if you're a new listener and you don't know
preface.
Yeah, well, if you don't know what we're referencing, go back into the archives. I don't know exactly what episode it was, but
I think it's 42.
42,
maybe?
39, somewhere around there. There was an incident between Jake and Linda Blair and an autograph. I don't want to spoil it. I want you to listen to it in real time. Yeah. And then a year later.
Then get on YouTube and watch the video about us going back last year.
It's a sequel. It's a whole saga.
Here's
the saga of Linda Blair.
Yeah. I can't believe the Blair Walsh saga is coming to an end. And we find out
the feud is coming to an end.
No,
it's almost been a project.
At the end, she's redeemed. And then you guys kiss and then she dies.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Totally. She force heals
this
you.
Year, this year at Days of the Dead, we become like best friends.
Yeah. Force dyad. That's what it is.
100%. No, but I was just going to really quickly propose what you do is you get her to sign her autograph on your body somewhere where there's space, and then you get a tattoo of Pazuzu around that.
Oh my God, that's a good idea.
It's a kind of good idea. I don't know how much space you have.
That's a good idea, but I have a feeling that Linda Blair would freak out if you asked her to sign a body part.
Body part?
No, this is what you do. You get a small slab of cement and have her sign that.
Anywhere. And then you whittle it down.
You whittle it onto...
I don't think you whittle cement. No. You whittle wood. You would have to... I don't know how you...
You graft the cement to your body, then
Chisel.
You get the Pazuzu tattoo around it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That works.
So listen, Linda Blair's going to be there. Richard Dreyfuss is going to be there. We're going to have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And it's always a good time.
I'm
it's
excited.
Good.
We're going to reclaim our photo shoot with Richard Dreyfuss.
Supposedly. Yeah. And also, it's fun to...
Good luck.
It's a good local con. I like going to a convention in Atlanta.
Same.
It's good.
It's close, small.
It's fun.
I've got new shoes to wear. I'm very excited.
Hey, I do too. I got some shoes today.
Did you really?
Yeah, came in the mail today.
Can you talk about them?
They're green Vans.
Nice. Classic.
Wow, they're made out of a van.
Oh.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah.
Volkswagens.
They're green Volkswagens. So we got that coming up. And then we're about 2.5-3 weeks away from New York Toy Fair 2020. I guess we could talk about this real quick. Programming note. Coming up in just a few minutes, we have our exclusive interview with Zombie Sailor of Zombie Sailors Toys on Instagram, who recently, as in several hours ago, revealed that he discovered Case Fresh Kenner Congo figures. They're going to be up for sale. And we talked to him about it. It's very cool.
Yeah.
It was an emergency. We've been following this guy for a long time. And we're like, hey, man, this guy's great. But then when the Congo toys went up, it kicked it into like fifth gear for us, and we were like, "Fuck!"
Another gear.
People kept tagging us, and it was like we have to have a
discussion with the zombie man.
We need to talk to him now.
That's mostly what we talked about.
Now.
There were no interview questions. It was just like Congo. Let's talk. Let's do it. We did.
Where
That's
did
coming
you
up.
get those Congo toys?
It's very exciting.
And we're all ordering.
Yeah, we're gonna do it. We're gonna. Well, don't spoil the.
Oh, okay.
We already did the interview. It's the magic of television.
Yeah, it's magic.
Okay, so that's coming up here in just a few minutes. We've got New York Toy Fair in a couple weeks. Go ahead. Somebody else talk for a second.
Yeah, go ahead and follow us. What were you getting to? Let's all pray for Craig real quick.
All right, 2 seconds to pray, and then Abby, you do the social media thing.
Yeah.
No, I'm not ready for that
plug
yet.
us on. Yeah, that's the end.
Amen.
Okay.
Thank you. I feel like I honestly think a lot of people just sent out prayers and positive vibes for me because I feel better now.
Is that what made you cough?
Could you tell the difference between a like and a prayer?
1 like equals 2 prayers.
Okay.
So now that we got that all situated, Hasbro Saturday Toy Fair. They are doing a special event. We don't know much other than
that we're going to be there.
We're going to be there.
All 3 of us are going to be there.
We're all going to be there.
Okay.
It's an off-site event from Toy Fair. They're doing a special brand unveiling of all the new stuff for this year. That includes all of the Hasbro brands. No, Mattel. Listen, Mattel Bland Hasbro brand. That's what we're doing. I kid Mattel, but they're not on my radar.
Are you telling me, Craig?
I'm telling you
that on Saturday of Toy Fair,
yes, sir,
there's going to be a special event.
Hallelujah!
In which we're going to see the new Ghostbuster toys.
Yeah, it's church. It's what you do. You repeat.
We've completely started. We've ignored Jake to have an argument.
To have a discussion about church.
Yeah. So basically, Hasbro is going to be revealing. We can only assume the new Ghostbusters toys for Ghostbusters Afterlife and whatever they have planned for the line. Obviously, this is the first time Ghostbusters has fallen under the Hasbro banner. Hasbro owns Kenner, or they bought the rights to Kenner back in the 90s. So who knows what in store for. But it's not just Ghostbusters. It will be Ghostbusters, Star Wars, Power Rangers, Nerf. Maybe I'm getting into Nerf this year. I don't know.
I am a big Nerf fan right here.
G.I. Joe and others. So we're very excited about this. I absolutely cannot wait to attend and see what they have in store. Hopefully talk to some of the people there. We're going to have a lot of coverage on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and all of that. Jake, what are you expecting from Hasbro as far as Ghostbusters goes?
I mean, I'm kind of expecting just to see everything that we're getting. You know, I'm sure we're going to get. I'll tell you what I'm most excited for. I'm most excited for the possibility of getting, like older versions of our, main 3 guys. I just think that would be cool. I think we're going to probably see all that stuff. We'll see whatever figures are based on the new movie. It's probably also it's weird to think about that we're not just going to be seeing toys here. It's going to be giving away things from the movie.
Yeah.
We will probably be seeing ghosts. If Slimer's in this, there's a good chance that's going to be revealed in a couple weeks because there'll be a toy.
Yeah. There's a chance. I mean, toys always, I think they're going to be everything.
It's not always that way. Remember when Answer the Call came out, there were all these toys of ghosts and we were like, whoa, these are going to look cool. And then they're not in the movie at all. So
if you go back to our first, it's either our first or second episode of Yes Have Some, there is a long discussion about Rowan's bow tie.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the rat, remember the rat ghost with the head? The ghost where its head is split open.
Yeah.
We're like, this thing's going to be amazing. Not in the movie at all.
Oh, yeah. Not in there. Also, Kevin's proton pack, not relevant at all.
Yeah, I don't.
We talked about that for a long time.
Conspiracy theory, yeah.
I'm sure it's not like you can predict the movie from the toy line, but it would be cool. I agree with you, Jake, to see.
There'll be something, though. There'll be you'll be able to get a better sense of
the vibe of the movie.
Points, probably.
I mean, uniforms, equipment, we're gonna have, the way I look at it is the trailer,
Underground Firehouse playset.
right? The trailer was the kind of the big kickoff, the big marketing push. But we've been in a little bit of that quiet time. Toy Fair is going to kick everything back up, and then it's going to be marching right into July. So I'm extremely excited. Obviously, it goes without saying, we are toy collectors and toy people, and I'm just thrilled to be able to go to Toy Fair, and very excited that Hasbro invited us to this event, and I can't wait. It would be silly for me to say that I have expectations. I do want to see if we're going to get an Ecto-1 for these figures and what that looks like.
Yeah, it's got a gunner seat.
The car, man.
Yeah.
What do you got going?
Give him a chapstick.
Anything else on that before we
I can't
move on?
wait. It's New York City. It's Times Square. It's going to be a lot of sightseeing, Ghostbusters locations that we've been meaning to see, like the Firehouse and the New York Public Library. Plus all the toys coming out from the new movie. It's going to be incredible.
It's going to be good.
Yeah, I can't wait.
It's going to be great. Stay tuned to Yes Have Some Podcast for all that coverage. Now, we're going to go ahead and get to this chat with Zombie Sailor. Very happy that he joined us on the podcast to talk about these Congo toys.
Yep.
After that, come back. We're going to be talking about Midsommar, which Abby and myself finally saw.
Mm-hmm.
Before we get to this interview, I want to talk about Yes Have Some on social media. But I'm going to let Abby do it because I'm about to choke again.
Oh my God. Are you okay?
What are you doing over there?
He's been just drinking Dr. Pepper over here. So here we go. If you want to follow us and engage with us, our group we have on Facebook is called Group Therapy. All you have to do is log into Facebook and search for Yes Have Some Podcast Group Therapy. There's well over 700 members, and you can become one of them just by asking to join. And either myself, Craig, or Jake will accept you. And from there, you can start posting about Midsommar or whatever movie you just saw that's stressing you out that you're obsessed with, or the toys that you're trying to buy, or Zombie Sailor's most recent post and how it's making you spend all of your money. Just join our group and no memes. That's pretty much it.
All right, cool. So we're going to get to the interview right now. And when we come back, it's going to be all scary in Midsommar.
Yeah.
Scary in Midsommar.
When we come back, we're all going to have a little tea.
We're moving to Sweden. All right. Zombie Sailor coming up right now. All right, everybody. Welcome back to Yes Have Some Podcast. Right now, joining us on the line, you know him as the time-traveling toy dealer. He is on Instagram at Zombie Sailor Toys. We've wanted to have this guy on for a long time. Zombie Sailor, who now has uncovered probably the greatest discovery in my personal history.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk about that in a few. Zombie, what's up, man?
Hey guys, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, we've been chasing you for a while, man. So this is exciting for us.
That's such a weird thing to say to somebody you just met.
We've been stalking your Instagram for a long time.
Yeah, man. Thanks.
I get that all the time.
I bet you do.
For those of you who don't know, Zombie has an amazing Instagram page. He sells toys, does a ton with the Major Wrestling Figure podcast. You know, we had Zack Ryder on a couple months ago. Maybe we'll touch on some of that stuff. But the main thing that I think you've become known for, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's discovering these old cases of fresh toys, right? So like whether it's Ghostbusters or Waterworld or now Congo, that's kind of like, that's your thing. You've kind of cornered that part of the toy industry. Tell us a little bit about that. How'd you get into this in the first place?
Well, first things first, guys. How does it feel to be on the phone with a man who's best friends with Kevin Costner?
I was going to
That's what I thought Craig was about to say when he said what you're most known for. I was like, Kevin Costner.
Kevin Costner.
Obviously.
Well, let's touch on that. So you uncovered all these Waterworld figures. You start kind of interacting with Kevin Costner on Instagram. New Year's Eve, you get the message. Take me back to that moment.
All right. Yeah. So just to recap. So, like Waterworld figures, like it's cool. It's a great movie from the mid 90s, of course, 1995. And like, this is legit. I genuinely really do like Kevin Costner. Like every one of his movies that I've ever seen, I think is magnificent. And he's just a good actor. He just has that wholesome everyday appeal, right? Or is it just me?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
No,
but,
Tin Cup is one of my favorite movies. So I'm right there with you.
There you go. of course, man. So Waterworld figures, like if you guys are familiar with the action figure market, I'm sure you are, they don't go for much. Unfortunately, like the Congo figures, I see them ending like $2 and change for the actual figure sealed. Like the actual shipping costs more than what the figure is, which is like heartbreaking. So I didn't pay a lot for these, but I paid more than what they were going for on average, and I had hundreds of them. So I'm like, shoot, I need to do something really creative to get people's attention to want to buy these at a premium price. So I had the idea to start going crazy and being like some crazed fan who's going after Kevin Costner, which is not too far away from reality. And yeah, one thing led to another. It was supposed to kill the climax, the payoff, if you will, because I kept on tagging him thinking that this guy would never pay me any mind. So it was going to basically just me doing like an Eminem style Stan music video, calling it Kev.
Yes.
And I had it written down. We were going to do it. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, he responded. So we just completely just didn't go with that. And that's pretty much it. We just got the video message from him. We spoke to him a couple times through DM. It's him and verified account and whatnot. And the rest is history.
That's amazing. And I was thinking about that today when you revealed these Congo figures. I was like, oh, maybe you can strike up a relationship with. And then I was like, I guess Ernie Hudson would be the biggest name in Congo because I couldn't think of any of the other actors' names. It's definitely amazing that Kevin Costner made you that video. Although I kind of want to see the music video where you're stalking him, like waiting outside of a diner and like, you know, stalking him, approaching him for his autograph and all that. That would have been good.
Yeah, one day, man. As far as Ernie Hudson goes, believe me, I can't say much, even though I'm giving it away right now. I definitely have a few things working in the pipeline. So more on that within the next few weeks. It's going to be really good.
Oh my God, you can't tease that. You can't not tell us.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
So I know one thing, if you don't know Zombie, if you don't follow him, he's not going to reveal his secrets. He's not going to tell you where the time machine is and how he gets his hands on these Case Fresh Kenner figures. I know I first discovered your account, I guess it was probably 3 or 4 years ago. I was buying real Ghostbusters figures from you.
And you would call Jake having a panic attack because you needed to buy all of them.
I needed to get all of them. Yeah. I mean, when are you going to get Case Fresh? Well, I think it was Super Fright features is what I was buying at the time. But just for a little bit of backstory on you and how you got into collecting, I know you were just featured on The Toys That Made Us. How'd you get into this world?
Yeah, man. So just real simple. Like, I'm like a lifelong action figure collector. Ever since I can remember, of course, I was a kid that played with toys. And I was born in 1985. I just turned 35. I'm an old crippled man. Yeah. And I've been playing with figures ever since I could remember. Ghostbusters, Ninja Turtles, wrestling, of course. So I always like this stuff. A lot of people have the misconception that I'm doing this just to make money, even though I am. But I'm a fan of this stuff. I love this stuff. This is my entire life. So long story short, I'm from Staten Island, New York, and I had a lot of action figures that were from my own personal collection. I always bought doubles and triples for rainy days and whatnot. And once I moved in with my, at the time, fiance, I had to do a lot of downsizing. So I started selling a lot of stuff to make room. And I had a sales job that I hated. And I started selling so much through eBay, then through Instagram, that I started taking days off from work to stay at home and box up orders. So I'm like, wait, I have a ton of inventory. I'm doing pretty damn well. Why am I staying at this job that I'm miserable at when I can make more money doing what I love? And, it started expanding on Instagram and started buying more and more toys. And the rest is history, as they say.
I love it. Yeah, that's the dream. I tried to sell toys full time. That went south real quick. But
it's hard.
It's
this was pre-Instagram though. I feel like that would have given me maybe a little bit of
Instagram opened up a whole community and a whole world of collectors and like connected me to other people. And that's actually how I found you, was people tagging me in your Case Fresh stuff.
Everybody tagged. So to give you a little context, we did an unboxing video of the entire Congo line a couple months ago, where Jake had bought the whole line in package, and we opened all of them. And then today, when you posted us, we posted the picture of the Case Fresh stuff. People were starting to tag us. So very exciting times to be a Congo fan. I tell you.
I'm telling you, man, what a time to be alive.
Exactly. Yeah. So tell us about Congo, man. How did you when you're searching this stuff out? Obviously, you put up that tease that you had found some 90s Kenner, and immediately my buddy Ryan Dole messages me. He's like, "Do you think it's DC?" And I was like, "I don't know, man. We'll see. We'll have some fun." And I was selfishly hoping maybe it was some of the Ecto Glow or something insane like that. That's kind of every Ghostbusters fan's dream, is to find cases of that. But so when you uncover this Congo stuff, what's your first reaction? You licking your lips?
Oh yeah, I was like, hell yes, because again, I'm a huge Congo fan. It's such a cool toy line, and I figured my base would get a huge kick out of it. I mean, if they like Waterworld, I figured they would love Congo. So yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely, man. So what's your plan? I know you haven't revealed a sale date yet, but you talked about on Instagram that you've got some videos. You've kind of opened and gone through everything. Like, what are we expecting from this sale?
Yeah, man. So so there's about 500 or so pieces, give or take. I think I'm pretty positive. Yeah, like no exaggeration. I'm not like inflating these numbers to sound cool or anything. I mean, legitimately, there's like 500 legit Congo figures and vehicles in my storage locker as we speak. It's crazy, man. So
I love the idea of somebody inflating their Congo numbers to like
impress somebody.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God.
Yeah, man. So yeah, I think the whole collection is here. And that's pretty much it. I mean, I just hope people like them and appreciate them. I want them to sell out, of course, or very close to a sellout. But I'm gonna have a lot of fun with the hype videos, if you will. So that's the stuff I'm really looking forward to revealing.
Yeah, and when you were doing the Waterworld stuff, I was like, this is great, because as you said, like, there's certain lines like Waterworld or Congo or Robin Hood or Hook where the figures are amazing, but there's just, a lot of it was out there and they didn't retain their value like something like Ghostbusters or Ninja Turtles would have over time. So I imagine you got to get pretty creative in your sales pitch to get the hype going.
Yeah, man, it keeps me busy. I mean, just, hey, it's all in fun, and that's it, man. I just want to keep people entertained, and I just want people to kind of like relive their youth, because nowadays, I'm sure you guys will agree, like I feel like everything sucks in the world, and there's so much like a lot of people are down and it's not as happy, and I feel like living is not as fun as it used to be.
Yeah.
So I want to take people back to like that time in their childhood when they were in KB and buying Congos like for 2 for $5. All 10 people that did that. So yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I promise I won't pull that quote. Like Zombie Sailor says, living's not as fun as it used to be. Like people are going to start. No, I agree, man.
Words of wisdom, kid.
Yeah. Words of wisdom. Life is awful. Buy some Congo figures.
Yeah.
Here we go.
It's pure joy and happiness.
Jake, you love this line. What was your reaction when you saw this today?
Well, I thought one of the best, it's just one of the, first of all, just the picture of all the like cases of Congo toy is just one of the best things I've seen in my life. And I've like, this past year gone on kind of a deep Congo dive. And after we filmed that video and opened the entire line, people who have watched that video, you can tell that I did not like opening all that. So since we filmed that, I have kind of been like, I got to rebuy this entire line.
Mm-hmm.
So
you can see it on his face.
Yeah. But
yeah.
I think I'm going to buy the whole line. I think you'll probably have two full sets over here. And you've got the
we definitely are.
Yeah. You've got the vehicles too, right?
Oh yeah, man. What is it, like the Net Trap vehicle or something like that? And
Net Trap, it's not a huge line. It's like I think it's like 8 figures and 2 vehicles or something like that.
And the vehicles, I believe, they're either repaints or were repainted for the Lost World line.
Yep.
Which one of them, the Net Trap is for sure.
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, man, we're excited. That's why we wanted to finally have you on and just kind of like, go through the motions with you.
Yeah, Congo's our bread and butter too. Like we like those kind of underrated, underappreciated movies.
Well, that's the thing we've talked about a lot. How we always wished Twister would have gotten a Kenner line.
Yeah,
because it feels like the kind of movie.
Oh my god!
Wouldn't that be sick? We've like designed it almost.
Oh
yeah.
My god.
We've thought about customizing pieces from, Congo, Jurassic Park, and Alien.
All the vehicles.
To put together a nice line of Twister figures.
We don't know how to do the actual Twister, though. We have no idea how to make a tornado toy. But we're working on it.
Imagine having like a deluxe tornado.
Yeah.
Well, we talked about that, like the tornado play set where like
3 cows.
Yeah, it folds down and like you open it up, kind of like the Castle Grayskull, and the inside has I don't know all the everything it's sucked up from Nebraska or Oklahoma.
Oh my God, brilliant!
Joe's dad.
Damn it! Oh,
Yeah, Joe's dad's in there. Joe's dead family is in the Twister. God. See, Zombie, if they would have had people like you and us, designing these lines, they would have, I don't know, Kenner would have probably got out of business even faster, actually.
100%.
So when can people look forward to start seeing these hype videos on your Instagram account?
Either tomorrow or Friday, I'm going to film the actual video. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to like have somebody in real time follow me from like my car to my actual storage unit. It's indoors, and basically just going to follow me in there and like open up the little gate, if you will, and me just getting a box cutter and going crazy and just showing how like fresh they are and it's all like legit. Because who in their right mind would fake Congo figures? So yeah, just want to show the viewers at home how they look, and
yeah, they're all
see them in massive bulk.
Very cool, very cool. And will you be shipping or not shipping? Will you be selling the shipping boxes? Because I know that we had some interest between Jake and myself in those boxes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, for you guys, of course, man. Yeah, that's not an issue. And also, like, what's really odd, so this came from like an old distributor. By the way, it's like a little tidbit. Like a lot of people are always wondering where I get these figures from. The cases. It's just so simple. So like hundreds of thousands of these were made of each character back in the day. It's crazy to wrap your finger around it, how inexpensive they were 20, 30 years ago to produce a figure. Nowadays, it'll blow your mind. Like just like the molding fees and mold fees and whatnot, they cost like 10 grand just to make one character. It's nuts. That's why you don't see them like they used to.
Right.
So with that being said, like with 100,000 is a huge number. So there's inevitably going to be some out there that are dead stock in some old distributor's warehouse or an old toy store's owner who went out of business and kept them in his garage, who's like now in his 50s, 60s, whatever, just has them and just sitting there rotting away. So my job that I appointed myself is to go and basically find these, and here we are. And unfortunately, it is very hard, and I kind of like pigeonholed myself into actually being the case fresh guy, and it kind of sucks because now everyone only wants that, so I have to bust my ass that much more to kind of find this stuff. So it is what it is.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean,
but darn standards.
Yeah, you kind of set the bar so high. I mean, I know when you were rolling out the Ghostbuster stuff and the Hasbro WWF stuff. I mean, that was stuff that like you can't find that stuff. I mean, even when you go to toy stores now, you're hard pressed to find anything in package from some of these lines. So yeah, man, you're killing it. Us as collectors and podcasters and people who talk about this stuff nonstop, we appreciate what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because actually, I don't. I mean, I spend money, so maybe I don't appreciate it. You're killing me.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. I did want to ask you, man, as far as just as the hobby goes, what do you get excited about as far as modern toys goes?
Modern toys, I'm a big fan of Hot Toys. Like, I love those things, even though they're so expensive now. Like, a lot of Marvel statues from Sideshow, stuff like that. I mean, that's pretty much all I collect nowadays. But you have to pick my battles because, a Hot Toy is like $250 now.
Yeah.
So it's like I can't get everyone like I used to. That's pretty much, I mean, wrestling figures, not so much unless it's like a classic guy. Like I don't really watch the new product anymore. I just watch, I have those memories of the old stuff from the 80s and 90s. So if it's like a flashback guy, I'll get one of those. If it's somebody that I admired or admire still, that's pretty much it. I mean, if something looks cool and like it's like, good paint app, good sculpt, articulation, I'll pick it up. Like just a couple days ago, on Instagram, I've never played the video game Fortnite ever. I'm not a 9-year-old child. If you guys play Fortnite, no offense, if you guys are listening.
I don't know anything about Fortnite. No. It's very confusing to me.
Perfect. Yeah. So there's like a character. I don't even know what his name is. It's some like wolf looking guy, but it was a really cool looking figure. It looked like he would fit into like the Ninja Turtle world or something. Again, someone posted it on Instagram and I'm like, okay, this looks like a cool figure. I went on eBay, bought it. It was like $30 delivered. And now I have him on my shelf. I didn't even know the character's name, but it just looks cool. So I got it. So yeah, if something looks good, regardless of where it's from, I'll get it. Simple as that.
I like that.
That's how I feel.
And it's kind of like that's like the lost art of toy lines. Like, people, it's kind of cliche to say they don't make them like they used to, but they really don't. I can look at old figure lines that I never collected, whether it be Swamp Thing or Toxic Crusaders or Bucky O'Hare. I never had those figures, but I admire them, and I want to go back and get them just because of how amazing and extensive those toy lines were.
That happened to you literally this year with, or I guess last year with Power Rangers.
Yeah, I was never a huge Power Rangers
got
fan.
into it just because you wanted to collect the figures.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
That's what I do. Well, listen, man, we appreciate you spending a few minutes with us. Yeah. We're excited about what you do. Go ahead and tell everybody where the best place to find you and follow you is.
All right, everyone. So yeah, if you have Instagram, just add me. It's at Zombie Sailors Toys. And my website that I never update because I'm very lazy, it's zombiesailor.com. So how it works is I have a huge inventory that I don't even post. It sounds so archaic somewhat, but just message me like, hey, guy, do you have this? Do you have that? Do you have this? Yes, I do. No, I don't. Yes, I do. And I'll let you know what I have. I'll show you pictures. We'll determine a price. And if you want to buy them, send me some cash through PayPal. I send you full tracking. You get your stuff, and that's it. I pack securely and I ship fast. So why not buy from Mr. Zombie Sailor himself?
I love that. That was great. And I can vouch. We've all, I've bought from you, and everything's safe and sound, as you said. And I'm excited about these Congo figures, and I can't wait. Jake we always laugh about, man, we can't believe people buy shipping cases, and now we're going to go down that road. And it's going to be awesome.
We're in that
it's going to be awesome.
I'm into it.
Mm-hmm.
For sure, guys. Just let me know what you need, and I'll get you any shipping cases you want because there's so many of them. So it's no problem whatsoever.
Sweet. Zombie, will you be attending Toy Fair this year?
Believe it or not, I've never been to a Toy Fair ever in my life.
Oh, okay. Okay. Us either. I
would like to go.
Yeah, we're going up there for the first time this year, and it definitely wasn't easy to kind of go through all the credential stuff, but we were able to do that. We're pretty excited about what Hasbro's doing with Ghostbusters. We're pretty stoked on that.
Well, if you guys have like an extra large piece of luggage you want to fit my fat ass in and just smuggle me through the front door, then you guys could be hanging out with Zombie Sale at the Javits Center, right?
I like that. Human trafficking into Toy Fair.
Yeah, we'll double up. I'll put on your shoulders. Perfect.
Of course.
It's great. Well, listen, man, we won't take up any more of your time. Everybody check out the official Instagram page at Zombie Sailors Toys. And follow him for what he's doing with Congo. And I'm sure more to come this year and beyond. We will catch up with you soon. And good luck with the sale, man.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, thank you so much. And also, if I could just add in, like, so I'm good friends with WWE superstars Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins, and I'm like affiliated with the wrestling, with the Major Wrestling Figure podcast.
Yeah.
So yeah, any listeners, if you're fans of like wrestling figures, new and old, or just wrestling in general, man, give them a listen. You could, download them on any major podcast network. It's at the Major Wrestling Figure podcast. It's great. They have weekly episodes that drop every Friday. It's funny. They have celebrity guests. They know there's wrestling figures like the back of their hand. So give them a follow, look them up on social media, listen to the podcast, and you guys will really enjoy it. So there we go.
Absolutely. Yeah, we had Matt on a couple months ago, and I'm an avid listener of their show.
Dedicated listener.
Yeah. And man, you kill it, man. For those of you who don't know, Zombie, you do all of the a lot of the merch, and you kind of facilitate all their pins and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So you're busy, man. So fuck that sales job you had to quit.
Yeah.
100%, man. You know what's the best part is? Ever since I quit that place 2 years later, they closed down. They filed for Chapter 11. So yeah, F them.
Dude, nice.
I love it. That's great.
Hell yes.
All right,
get
man.
your time machine, go back to the past, get those minty toys.
Yeah, I love it. It. Hey, man, we'll catch up with you soon. Have a good night.
Thank you guys so much for having me. You take care now, everyone.
Yeah.
All right, thanks,
dude.
Bye.
All right, thanks. Bye.
All right, everybody, we are back. Thank you so much to Zombie Sailor of Zombie Sailors Toys on Instagram. We very much appreciate his time. And I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm excited about these Congo toys. Jake, what's your feeling coming out of that?
Boy, it feels really good. It's like perfect timing. I've been, agonizing day in and day out, losing sleep over the fact that I opened those toys and haven't rebought them months ago. And I can now sleep at night.
Yeah, no, you can't. No. You stay up till 4 a.m. every night.
You stare at that shelf. You wake up sometimes just standing in front of it.
I do. I wake up in a nightmare and I'm like, sesame cake. I wake up in one of those like fucking
I want to know what these teases are. Like, did he reach out to Ernie Hudson? Is Ernie gonna reprise his role?
I hope so.
It's gonna be good.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I hope he's somehow involved in the unboxing. I mean, he teased that.
I want to
there's
hear that
something,
beautiful
yeah.
accent.
Yeah.
God, me
Tim
too.
Curry too.
Yeah.
Anyways. Okay, so we are going to move on now.
Yeah.
And we are going to be talking about Midsommar, which is a movie by director Ari Aster, or Ari Aster, I should say, put out by A24 last year. This was the follow-up to Hereditary. And I feel like enough people have seen it by now. If you haven't seen it, maybe you want to skip this part of the podcast because we are going to talk heavy spoilers. Jake, I know you were a huge fan of this movie, but here's the question. I know, Jake, you've got this heavy stance against award shows, right? Like you hate them. They don't matter to you.
They don't. They just don't matter.
But it is surprising to me after watching this movie that it's under the radar and did not get any recognition at all, because I think it's a damn good movie.
Yeah.
It is, yeah. Well, that's a problem. That's one of the issues. That's one of the core issues with I think award shows, period, is that they don't really. It's only very, very recently that they've started kind of dipping their toes into genre movies, superhero movies, horror movies is kind of like, a very, very new thing. And most horror movies tend to just get, lumped into one category and just overlooked, period. It doesn't matter if it's a well-made movie like Hereditary or if it's, The Conjuring 4. They're to award shows, they're basically all the same,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that kind of sucks. I don't like that. I really enjoyed this movie. I think it deserves a lot of recognition. We'll kind of get into the plot and the details. Abigail, what did you think?
Yeah, I'm shocked after seeing it that it was overlooked, like when it comes to winning awards or being nominated. It looks like the reviews were pretty much middle of the road, like B+, C+. I thought it was an A+ movie. I personally, the visuals, the color palette, the acting of, God damn it, Florence Pugh. She's fucking insanely good. Especially even before the shit gets crazy in the movie, she really pulls you in with her performance.
Oh, so you mean like before the first 2 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. The whole literally just the entire movie I think is a masterpiece, and I think it's I think it's beautiful, and I like that it's daylight and that the subject matter, like being in Sweden, it catches you off guard because it seems like everything should be fine, but under the surface nothing is fine. It's all off kilter, which is just like Hereditary, and just like that director really, like that's his niche is that like something is askew and something's off. You don't really know what it is yet, but as you see it unfold, it's like you can't look away. You have to.
I was just bummed at the end of the movie, like when everybody's got their art projects. Yeah. Right. So like each of the dead humans is turned into like
something interesting.
One's a chicken and one's a scarecrow and one's a bear. Because it's in Sweden, I was expecting one to just be a Detolf.
One's a Detolf. Yeah.
He's just a Detolf.
They're like, we can't get this one put together.
In the end, instead of like having that, they go behind the big triangle-shaped building, and it's just an IKEA back there.
Yeah. Oh my god.
The movie ends.
They all work at IKEA.
Area.
It's like the weirdest IKEA commercial I've ever seen.
They all go to lunch in the cafeteria.
You
Abby,
go inside
there.
Sorry, I had one more joke, but continue.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, you go inside that house and you're like, you think it's the IKEA, like the dented, like discount furniture section. You're like, oh, this is different. You see the fucking blood eagle. Anyway, continue. Tell me what your thought was.
Well, I was just going to say one of the things that like, it kind of, I've watched this movie probably 5 or 6 times.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that's unique about it, I think, is that like, all these people are getting killed and there's kind of some horrific things happening, but the people who are carrying out all this, murder and sacrifices and all this, like they're not like bad people. This is like, there's a point in the movie where they're like, hey, this is our culture. We've been doing this for like 100 years. Like those people were happy to do that. You know,
it's a natural
It's weird
passage.
thinking about it because like it is a horror movie and there are these people getting killed, but then it's like this is just like the way these people live. It's not like they're killing people just to kill people. You know what I mean?
No,
It's
like
kind of
that's
a weird.
It was the decision of the 72-year, the Senecide, to jump off the cliff top. Like,
yeah, but I've got a counter to that. Like, in any cult or religious commune that's ever existed, you're right, Jake. Everybody is just doing it because that's the way they do things.
Yeah.
Except for one person at the head who's like actually evil. I don't know if we met that person.
Yeah, but I don't know if but this doesn't. It's weird because it's like.
That. I agree with you, Jake.
It doesn't seem like these people don't seem secretly evil or nefarious. It seems less like a cult, and it seems more like just this weird culture that hasn't figured out that's not the way you do things yet.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It feels less.
It's like
and also this part of the 9-day celebration or whatever happens only every 90 years. So it sounds like, or maybe that's I don't know if it's like if it's every year they have two people jump off a cliff. Like, I'm not sure.
Here
it's only when they're old enough to.
So here's what it is.
Okay.
If anybody turns 72, they jump off the cliff. If nobody turns 72 that year, there's no reason for them to have that ceremony. The part that's every 90 years is the burning, the
sacrifice of 9 people.
The 9 sacrifices at the end where it's in the house.
Okay.
That is the thing happens every year. The festival happens every year.
Right.
Where they pick
but the burning that's every 90 years.
Right. Mm-hmm. What is the summer, the May, what do they call the
May Queen?
May Queen?
She's the May Queen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I really like how they pick the May Queen.
Let me say this really quick. Before that sequence started, was under the impression that they were going to dance until they actually died of exhaustion. I was like, this is going to go on for weeks. But when it was like, oh, you're just doing it till you get dizzy and fall down.
It's really funny. Like
it's funny and like hard to look away from.
It's an every 90-year festival, and they do this part every year where they pick a May Queen, and it's rooted in ritualistic murder and suicide, and how they select the May Queen is they have a dance off, and it's musical chairs basically. You go, and I love that.
I loved the music that played. Like I was very
soundtrack's awesome. The score is really great.
Oh, absolutely. All the singing and chanting, and it's actually beautiful and somber and lovely.
Well, that's what I really loved about the movie, and we can talk a little bit more about the plot. But anytime there's that contrast of there's really fucked up things happening, but the palette is beautiful, like the backdrop. I love that. And the fact, like, you know, if you look at and here's one thing, I haven't read anything about this movie. I looked up a couple of the Easter eggs and stuff, but I went into it pretty fresh, hadn't gotten spoiled on anything, and I haven't read anything since. But one thing that's very striking is that the first 15 minutes of the movie that take place, excuse me, in America, everything's dark. It's dark. It's night.
It's real dark.
It's
it's wintry. Yeah.
Yeah, and it kind of feels. You don't really get a sense of any of that part of the movie during the.
It's an environmental contrast to the warmth and nature that opens up when you get over.
And then when they get to the Sweden, like you realize, like it's daylight almost all the time, and there is almost no darkness, except for all of the crazy shit that's happening. So I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Of the three of us, if we were to go on this trip and get to this festival, if we were to get there when the mushroom scene's going on, like, would any of us stay any further past that point, or I feel like all of us would immediately try to get home? Because it's like very.
I don't know. I mean, those kids are watching Austin Powers. I might stay.
That was the thing I was going to point out. They're good people. They watch Austin Powers and let the kids watch it. But I love that descent because in the beginning it's like, oh, it could be like a fucking music festival EDM thing, like where people do drugs and like are out. But then it's not. The part that scares me when I'm watching it is like imagining if I was one of those people, how they like, you know, when it gets towards the end, there's like, you get a couple people who are volunteering
to get burned alive. And then there's also when they pick when Christian's in his bear suit, or it's before he's in his bear suit, but when he's paralyzed, they're like, hey, you're either gonna pick Christian or just a random person of ours, and they just like draw a name. And I'm like, I would be so fucking terrified every year that that would be my name. It's like so scary. And I mean, they're not scared of it. They're happy to do it. But it's like
excited. They can't wait to win that lottery.
To kill themselves. Yeah, they love it.
Yeah, they're super excited to kill themselves until they start burning alive, and it's a very Dukes of Hazzard.
They
moment.
realize they're gonna. Yeah, they realize it hurts. Yeah.
I imagine that the guy starts screaming, and it's like the screen freezes, and he looks, and it's like it was at that point that he realized that maybe
the tree root wasn't gonna help him feel any better.
So listen,
that's so funny that they like rub a little salve on them. You're gonna be fine, and then it's like fucking no.
Let's the basic plot of the movie is that this poor girl who suffers from anxiety and panic attacks already, and maybe is a little what do they call him? Stage 5 clinger. Like she's got some dependency issues, some codependency issues. She's dating this guy. She's worried about her sister. All that shit happens. Like I said, we're about to go spoiler heavy.
Yeah, just do it.
Yeah, just say it. Her sister's bipolar, and her sister commits suicide and kills both of her parents with carbon monoxide.
And immediately. First 5 minutes of the movie.
Yeah,
it's very dark and it's very haunting. And my first thought was like, okay, how does this tie in with the rest of the movie? But what you quickly realize is that it ties in with this was the trauma that she needed to go through to lead the series of events to.
It sets her up to be isolated, alone, and like familyless, and needing connection to people, and like that's kind of when cults and things like that can seem very appealing.
Yeah, when you're at your most vulnerable is when the mushroom people start approaching.
But that's not why she went on the trip. She went on the trip because her and her boyfriend were having a fight, and it seems like she thought it might be a good idea to like get some fresh air. But the other guys are going on the trip because they're anthropologists and they're studying their thesis, which was kind of the least interesting part of the movie. But when they get over there, it's definitely like you're wondering why she's like, how could you emotionally even be on a plane and going somewhere when you've got that kind of loss going on at home? But that also like leads into why she's vulnerable.
Well, yeah. I mean, like, well, why at that point, why would you stay home? Like she has no home at this point. Mm-hmm. Everybody she knows is going on this trip. Like her boyfriend's going. And what you realize has no family anymore. Like
the guy who's taking him back to the friend, I can't think of the character's name, but the friend who takes him back to his village is actively, he sees that vulnerability in her, and multiple times kind of like he's trying to recruit her. Like he sees something in her. It's almost like kind of that thing we were just talking about, which is when you have that vulnerability is when you might be susceptible to falling under the spell of something that's maybe not great.
Yeah, not a great influence, whatever it is, cult, gang, something. Yeah, because he talks to her in the apartment and is like, hey, I lost my family too.
I think he also thinks like, I think he probably, I think he realizes that her boyfriend and those other two dudes are kind of shitty people.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that he feels really bad for Danny, and he knows that she's a good person. And I think in his like own weird fucked up way, he's like, she belongs with us because we're good people, you know, even though they're like crazy and they're killing people and shit.
You would think
he thinks that she's legitimately a good person, I think.
You would think that at some point during like when he leaves the village and he goes and studies in America and like starts adapting to American culture, you think at any point he's like, this is kind of better. Like
there's like 74-year-olds and 75-year-olds out here.
Look at that 74-year-old. He's not even jumping off a cliff. Yeah. What's he doing? So yeah, that's kind of what gets the story going. She goes through that trauma with her family and is feeling kind of lost. And the boyfriend, what's the character's name?
Christian.
Never liked him. You can
just tell. He's set up to be kind of, I mean, he's set up for you to think this is the worst boyfriend ever. And especially because like the first time you meet him, he's telling Danny, you need to stop letting your sister do this. You need to grow up, do this, blah, blah, blah. And then 2 seconds later, her sister's dead.
Yeah,
right.
You know, and his friends are like, you've been wanting to get out of this relationship forever. Just fucking tell her to fuck off. Like it's
right.
It's it really paints him in a bad light. And then like, you know, as soon as he gets there, he's forgetting her birthday. He's like, there's just all kinds of weird stuff. He's always like ignoring her.
He's making eyes.
It's very. Yeah. Also, he fucks like a pretty young girl. So
no. She put a love spell on him. I saw it.
She carved that little thing. She whittled it down.
I mean, he was under. Yes, he's under the influence of like very weird, heavy drugs and occult, but also he's just not a great person.
Yeah.
No, he sucks. So they get there, and you know, I wondered why they were so. I don't know. When I go to a strange place that I've never been and somebody immediately offers me like a hallucinogen, I usually say, let me get my footing.
But they're all studying cultures and people.
Well, that's the thing. That their whole thing is
also I get the impression that these are for people that just do a lot of drugs.
They do drugs anyway. Right,
yeah. They kind of gave you that because they were all doing smoking weed in the apartment.
Yeah. So, man, you know what though? That first scene when they're all tripping and they're sitting on that hillside and she goes off by herself gave me so much anxiety. It stressed me out so bad. Mm-hmm. And Hereditary also gave me a lot of anxiety. This movie didn't give me quite as much because it did not. It's definitely weird and like appalling and shocking at times. Mm-hmm. Didn't give me that sense of dread too much. I was telling Jake this. Predictable is not the right word, but it doesn't really stray. Like you kind of see the path that it's going down. There's no big twist. It just kind of has a pretty linear story.
It's a lot of borrowed storylines, kind of. It's like the thing that Craig, what we were talking about is that like Hereditary is like legitimately terrifying and horrifying, kind of from start to finish. It's weird. There's nothing about Hereditary that feels like you've seen that in another movie. But with horror movies, it is a trope to have like, you know, the weird cult off in another country. There are plenty of movies like that. The original Wicker Man is like it's a cult classic movie that is, you know, very similar in plot. So that kind of stuff, it's like, you can tell that they borrowed a lot of stuff from those kind of movies, but the difference is just that it's done so well. Like you don't care that it's a little predictable here and there, and you don't care that it kind of goes exactly where you think it's going to go because it's so well acted, written, photographed. It's like it's scary, but it's not scary in the way like Hereditary is. Right. And I saw when this movie came out, I saw a lot of people that were kind of bummed because they were like, well, it's not as scary as Hereditary. And I'm like, but that's okay. A filmmaker doesn't want to, he's not trying to make the same movie over and over again. It doesn't have to be exactly like Hereditary.
No. And I think scary is such a subjective
suspenseful
term.
For sure.
It is.
Yeah.
You know, like it's
stressful. I wouldn't call it scary. I would call it stressful.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's like the doom and dread that you feel watching it. Yeah, was I able to put together some of the plot lines? Like when I saw everybody was drinking lemonade that was yellow, but the Christian's glass was like orangish red. I was like, yeah, that's definitely period blood in there. Because you'd seen the entire the artwork.
They showed
that
it.
happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I like that because it's rewarding you for paying attention to what's going on. Like
I thought it was an Arnold Palmer the whole time.
I just thought it was some hot sauce.
Do you want yours with sweet or unsweet
some
tea?
Frank's Red Hot in there.
I do like the idea of them being like, hey, see if they have any Franks. I like Frank. And then it's like, well, yeah, I honestly, I think Frank's is much better than Tabasco.
Well, you know, they got that Scoville level, 3,000. So.
Oh, yeah. I bet you can't eat 10 of those wings.
I see salt, but no salt substitute.
Yeah. So, Abby, let's do it.
Yeah.
What's the scariest thing in this movie?
God, let me think. I mean, Probably the face bashing after jumping off the cliff for the two elders in the group. And honestly, the build up right before they go, when they're being carried off, like when they do their final toast of that shot and they all drink it, I was like, these people are about to die.
Something's gonna happen.
They're being carried off somewhere. And that feels so biblical and so like huge in Old Testament to see the big cliff and see them brought up and making the decision to jump off. You're like, no, they're not. Then they do. And then the one guy doesn't die and the group has to come out and hit him and then they wail together. That's just disturbing and shocking.
Hey, but let me ask a question.
Yeah.
If you're 72 years old, right?
Yeah.
And you grew up in this community.
Yeah.
That means you've been going to that festival for 72 years.
Yeah.
There's no telling how many people you've watched jump off those cliffs.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you think you would know not to jump feet first?
Oh, I would have a whole plan. I would go jump backwards.
I thought they were going to fight and only one of them was going to die and then the other one was going to get the fucking time stone.
It'd be like a Mortal Kombat. That's definitely the most shocking moment of the film.
Here's what I do if I was in that group. When I turned 72, I'd be like, guys, I think I'm going to skip
She's not going to show up.
Yeah, like
this
Dragon
year,
God, whatever it's called, Helga or Harga. I'm skipping Harga.
They get a lot of runaways at 71.
I've been thinking about it. Yeah.
It's just there's not really a good guest list this year.
How about when it's like
I'm feeling really young for my age. I think I'm good.
Yeah.
Let me tell. I can tell you what I think the scariest moment is.
Yeah, tell us.
And it's a weird moment, and it's earlier in the film. So like her sister kills herself, kills the parents, but then there's this scene, and it's maybe 3 or 4 seconds long, and it's like, and I don't even know why it's scary. It's something about the sister's face. There's a shot where I don't know if it's when Danny is dreaming early on. She's having some sort of like flashback.
I think it's when they do mushrooms, right? Like when they're all sitting outside.
I'm not sure if it's then or not, but there's a scene where it cuts to her sister and her parents sitting on the couch together watching TV. And there's nothing it's just them sitting there watching TV. But the sister, the angle it's like coming at them at an angle, and they're clearly just watching the television. But then the sister like slowly moves her head towards the camera as if she's looking right at the viewer.
Yeah.
It's like 3 seconds, and I don't know why, but it's very like, I don't know. It's
off-putting.
It's kind of frightening to me, and I don't know, like, whatever. It's just a person looking at you, but for some reason, the whole atmosphere, knowing like what she did, it's just, I don't know, man. It's just like it makes my hair stand up.
I think for me, I agree with you. One of the scarier moments I'm now deciding is when Christian runs out after the sex rite is performed and he's naked and he like doesn't know where to go and all that, because that feels like a nightmare, like right out of my dreams. Like that's
for sure.
Yeah, it's very fucked up, and everything that goes on inside of that room with the wailing and the chanting, and like when Danny hears those like weird orgasmic chanting noises, like that moment is very scary for me too. Just like putting myself in that character, it's like that is fucking. She knows what's going on, and then she sees it. It's fucked.
I mean, I think overall the sense of isolation and not being able to leave where you are is very scary. The scene where the one girl's like they're trying to leave and then they're like, oh, he went to the station.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he left.
He left. He took the truck.
You didn't see him leave?
Why would he leave without me? Oh, I just couldn't fit the truck. Everyone's like,
and by leave we mean made a skin suit out.
Yeah. He's gone. The scene where the one dude wakes up at night to go take pictures of the scriptures, and the dude's behind him, very scary. Anytime they showed the deformed looking boy's face, really kind of terrifying.
And when you find out that he's the one that's like the leader of everything, it's like,
because it's like what did they explain that?
He sets the programming, I guess, for like the whole festival.
Well, he writes the book.
Yeah.
He's the booker.
No, he writes the history and all that.
Yeah.
Whatever. Shit.
Yeah.
He's a historian, and he's very smart. And I'd like
he likes to watch a good show.
Oh, does he? I was wondering during the sex ritual scene, the one lady who's the one who gets behind him and is pushing him.
Yeah.
Is that like an elected position? Do you have to apply for that job?
I think you just feel it in the moment.
You just feel
Yeah,
it?
I think she was just in the moment. She was like, "This is taking too long. We need to move this
This
along."
will help. This is gonna help.
Yeah, this is gonna make it better for him.
Oh my
He'll
God.
love it.
Yeah.
He's good. Hey, she leans over while everyone's like, she's like, I've got a great idea.
Then she just close your eyes. Pretend like everyone's naked.
I like the one.
Hi,
who
I'm
gets
Johnny
right in
Knoxville.
face
This is
first thing.
Jackass. Bow, down, down. Sorry, keep going, Jake. Sorry.
I was gonna say I like the one that gets like right in his face while they're doing it and just starts singing really loudly.
That is putting so much unnecessary pressure. She should have been like, "Hey, it's just you and me here. Just close your eyes."
That was the
You're doing
craziest
great.
sex scene since an American Pie, with the shant where they got the webcam going.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
There were some pies in this movie.
The thing, like,
There were some pies in this movie.
I'm gonna go ahead and jump
Swedish
to
pie.
the end here.
Let's do it.
Yeah, do it.
The thing about Hereditary is that when you get done watching Hereditary, you feel like you feel like it's possible you might be dead.
You gotta call
You know
a
what I mean?
doctor.
Like, you watch Hereditary and you're like, holy shit, I just died.
Mm-hmm.
That movie is like, it just, Hereditary, you do not feel good after watching it.
No, not at all.
When I finished Midsommar, when it gets to that very end, and it's not even when she chooses. So like Danny gets to choose between Christian and a random person to be the ninth and final sacrifice, and she chooses Christian. She's like, fuck it, burn him.
Yeah.
But still, it's like it still doesn't quite register until that building is on fire and Danny starts smiling.
Yep.
And then it ends and you're like, oh, this is like a happy ending for Danny. Like,
Yep.
she's happy. She's got a family again. She's gotten rid of all these shitty people in her life. And now she's like, it feels very cathartic coming out of Midsommar. And every time I've watched it, I've just felt better.
Yeah. I feel like it's somehow justice, and it works in like a weird way that she found another family after losing hers. Yeah, it's a fucked up one. It's kind of weird, but she's a part of it. And also they did away with all the negativity in her life, so to speak. Like those the friends that weren't so great.
They take her in and give her something that she hasn't.
You're
had.
May Queen. You're special. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you got to you can make assumptions that maybe her parents sucked too. Like if the sister's taking the parents out with, like, there's a lot of issues there already. It's a toxic environment, toxic family, toxic friendships, toxic relationship. Jake, I don't know if I felt good, but I love Jake was like, don't worry, it's a happy ending. Like, I love
It is a happy ending.
Jake's idea of a happy ending. My idea of a happy ending is, then they were rescued.
She was rescued from her shitty boyfriend and from all his shitty friends.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying that it's a pleasant ride.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that like it's not smooth sailing.
Yeah.
But when you get to that end and she smiles, it feels good, man. And it's like, oh, you know what? That is fucked up, but like,
yeah, it is fucked up. Jake, I agree. It's fucked up.
Yeah.
But it's good.
Yeah, it's fucked up. It's fucked up in a good way.
Hey, nobody asked me what I thought the most terrifying part was.
What is it? I want to know.
Tell us your most terrifying moment.
When they had to fly. When they had to go fly there.
We all
to
got
Sweden.
on a plane.
Yeah.
When they're on
when they're on that peaceful flight of sleep.
When they showed me that tiny ass bathroom on the airplane.
No, it's hard because it's the overall sense, and I said this earlier, it's the overall sense of isolation, I think.
Yeah, I get that.
I think that for me, the thought of being held against my will or not being able to leave somewhere or to kind of have that sense. And I brought this up to Jake earlier. I think part of, you kind of get that feeling nobody's like thinking straight.
Yeah.
They're on drugs.
Yeah, they're on psychedelic drugs. They're far away. The sun is out most of the day. It's a very different, weird
It's different. By the way, anybody who listens to the Ghostbusters Interdimensional Cross Rip podcast will know that Troy Benjamin lost his voice halfway through last week's episode, and I think I got whatever he got.
Yeah.
So
It's contagious.
it's
Sounds
it's
like
going across the podcast waves.
If you listen to their podcast, it will happen to you.
That would not be a good review. Ghostbusters
I'm
Interdimensional
sorry I
Cross
said that.
Rip.
You'll
Wait,
listen.
Ghostbusters Cross Rip. Listen to it. You'll get sick.
lose your voice. No.
It comes through the microphone.
I like that. That sounds like a good idea.
Listen, let's talk
Killer
about some of the there's a lot of you guys have watched this movie once. You watched
Right.
it. Was it last night?
Last night.
Yeah.
Last night. So I don't know how much reading you guys have done. I have watched this movie a lot. I think it was maybe the best movie of last year to me. I think it was maybe my favorite movie of the year. There are a lot of like weird Easter eggs and things happening. I don't know what you guys caught. And I'm asking, did you guys catch any like weird
throughout the movie? Like I noticed the bear painting in her house.
Yeah, that I loved that. Yeah, with the crown and the girl.
Anytime they showed like the any paintings on the wall or any
a lot of those were
right. Anytime
everything inside of the apartment, all of her books were blue and yellow. I noticed that too. Which
That's
they also, I mean, honestly, like the movie opens on like a painting. And
right.
You don't really, when you're watching the movie for the first time, you don't really register that kind of stuff.
Right.
But on your second showing, especially if you pause it, the painting is literally everything that happens in the movie. It's from start to finish the movie.
Right. And then there's that series of paintings they show later, which talks about, it kind of shows.
Tapestry.
Yeah. It kind of like outlines the process. Like first.
Exactly. There's also like
the scissors.
The scissors, the haircut, if you will.
Yeah, it's just a light trim.
The lemonade making.
Trimming the hedges, making lemonade.
There's a couple things like that. You know, earlier in the Abby, like you said, there's a painting with a bear and a girl with a crown. On the table beside her parents, there is a crown of flowers.
Mm-hmm.
There's a scene towards the end of the movie that I didn't see in the theater, and I guess other people didn't see it either. And it wasn't until the movie hit digital that there started to be like articles about it. But after Dani becomes the May Queen, they put her up on that big wooden slab and they're like walking her towards the table. Mm-hmm. There's a wide shot of that scene, and in the trees are forming her sister's face with the hose coming out of it.
That is so crazy. It's
very creepy looking, and it's only in there for the one shot. And once you know it's there, it's like it's very noticeable. But I didn't notice it in the theater.
I'll have to go back and check that out because I did not see that either.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a couple things. Like there's a scene, you know, when she first walks into the bathroom, when they first get there and they're taking the mushrooms at the beginning.
Yeah.
When she walks into the bathroom, when she closes the door, you can see her sister in the mirror. Also, after she becomes May Queen, all those people are kind of coming up to her and congratulating her. And you hear her say mom at some point because her mom is there for some reason. But also her sister is one of those people. Like her sister is just in there. They don't even mention it. You just have to, like, you only figure that out if you recognize the actor and you're like, oh, that's her sister. Like, it's just there. There's all kinds of weird shit like that happening.
Yeah.
Okay. So for a movie like this, Jake, are you getting more out of it with each viewing, or like not just picking out Easter eggs, but like, does your opinion of it evolve, or you kind of feel the same as you did early on?
I feel like maybe, you know, the first time I watched it, you know how I was talking about how it kind of gives me like a good feeling. I kind of come out of it feeling like cathartic, and I don't think I felt like that the first time. I think the first time I watched it, I was more like, whoa, okay. You know, it does feel heavy and it takes a lot out of you. But I think as I've watched it more and more times, I have enjoyed it more and have kind of had like, I feel like I have less anxiety and I'm more a little excited to see things happen and more feeling like, I don't know, it just feels better when I get to the end after multiple viewings of it.
Yeah, I feel like it's got rewatchability factor 100%. I've been thinking about it constantly. Like Craig and I woke up this morning talking about it, and I could give it a rewatch. I don't think it's quite as disturbing and traumatic as Hereditary. I think it's got,
not at all.
Yeah, it's got good, like, warm colors.
There's some funny stuff in there's some funny stuff in it. It's also very beautiful to look at. So it's like Hereditary is like, it's rough everywhere.
It's bleak, like 100% all the way through.
Yeah, it's bleak. There's shit is happening that I don't ever want to see again. Like it's rough to watch. But this movie, it's like, it's very beautiful. Even the stuff that's gross is still like, it's so well done that it's like I want to see it again. Like when I watch that face get smashed, I'm like, how did they do that? Right. Are they smashing somebody's face for real?
Yeah. I think so.
They might.
That poor actor.
Well, he was 72. He knew it was coming.
He was 7. We need 72-year-old actors for a movie. Might not make it through. It was interesting that I did read some stuff where people were trying to like make it part of the same universe as Hereditary or connect. It was very strange. They feel so different and like not about. There's no paranormal element to this movie at all. There's worshiping and like occult religious
supernatural stuff is absent.
Yeah.
Right. I saw there were some. So I saw an article that came out. There is a scene in Hereditary where the mom goes to like a store, and there is a scene where she's walking through the parking lot and she walks past a couple that are walking into the store. You only see them from the back. And I don't know. I don't know if they ever got to the bottom, to whether it was, a purposeful thing or not. But the couple from the back looks a lot like Danny and Christian. Oh, like it looks like it, even though you're not seeing their faces, just the shape of the body, the clothing they're wearing, it looks like it could be the same two actors.
Okay.
And some people are like, oh, is that an Easter egg? Did he know he was going to make this? Like that seems like a big leap.
Right.
Yeah.
But I've seen people making that argument.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm all about universes. If he wants to build a universe, I'm not going to
be Stephen King crossover, all that shit. That's great. Yeah.
Yeah. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I'm definitely going to revisit it. I want to, I think it's more revisitable than Hereditary. I think we've kind of hammered that point home.
Yeah.
I just like all the pretty flowers, to be honest. They're very beautiful.
In a way, it's the same appeal that Annihilation has. It's got a bear. It's got flowers.
Exactly. It's got some fucked up shit. It's got some scary shit.
Very strong, powerful female. Who, you kind of quickly feel for her at the beginning, and you kind of see her like, it's that kind of thing where like we all know her boyfriend's kind of a piece of shit, and we get to see her realize it in real time, and then she's like, yeah, he's gonna die.
Yeah.
There's there was a director's cut of this movie that from what I've read is about 30 minutes longer, and it was put into theaters for like a very, very small limited engagement. It didn't, it wasn't in it didn't go to a lot of theaters, but you could, there was a time where you could go see the director's cut. From what I've read, it's going to be released on Blu-ray, DVD, like fairly soon.
Cool.
But also from what I've read, a lot of the extra stuff in that is like stuff between Danny and Christian. And I read that there is a major big argument between the two of them that like, he said he really didn't want to have to cut it, but the way the timing was and the way other things, it worked better for him to, he was like, he had to cut something,
I wonder what the argument was about. Like, I wonder if
it's supposed to be like it's like a blowout kind of argument.
She's like, okay, you ready? Hey Christian, can I talk to you? Yeah, babe, what's up? And she's like, did that bitch put a love spell under your bed last night? And he's like, no, I don't know where that
That's not my little wooden stick.
That's not my little wooden love spell. And she's like, well, you were looking at her and you better not have a ritualistic sex thing.
Why is his lemonade different than mine? Can we get our server?
Also, he's such a dick. He's like, that's gonna be my thesis too.
Oh yeah, just steals his best friend's.
That's mine.
I'm gonna do it too. I already asked him about it.
And when he tells him, he's like, I just thought you should know. And he gives Danny a fucking piece of pound cake that they made at their fucking compound. It wasn't like he got that for her.
Yeah, because the other guy told him, hey, you forgot her birthday.
That he was like, here's your birthday present from the fucking airport gift shop.
Yeah.
Sourced
Dude,
locally.
Also, there's a scene, I can't remember what Danny is asked. There's a scene where he's talking to like one of the elders. Yeah. And Danny comes up because I think maybe it's when the girl goes missing. Uh-huh. And she comes up to him with a very important, like, she has a concern about something. Not just like question, she has something is happening. Uh-huh. And she asks him, and he's like, oh, that's weird. Hey, what about inbreeding? He completely ignores her and just starts talking to the elder about inbreeding.
By the way, they're lying. They're ass. We are
pure blood.
Very pure bloodlines here. So
nothing weird. Don't go in that one house though. You'll see. It's very pure.
Oh man, good stuff, man. This is good. This is a fun movie, and I think that the main actress Florence Pugh has a nice little career ahead of her. Jake, I know you said she's in that new Black Widow movie coming up.
She's in Black Widow. She's in Little Women, which is currently out.
Oh fuck! I want to see that.
Yeah, she's great. I thought it was really well done, and I think that I hope that if you just listen to this, that you I don't know.
We'll go see it.
Go see it or see it again. Please don't go see it before you listen to us talk about it. But I guess if you've already made it this far, what'd you think? What'd you think of our breakdown? Okay, cool. So Ari Aster is going to do more movies. I guess he's not going to do a horror follow-up. It feels like he's going to be one of those guys that ends up directing a Marvel movie, because they like to tap into like...
You should do fucking Doctor Strange.
Well, Sam Raimi.
Yeah, that's a pretty good
That's going to be Doctor Strange. That kind of broke tonight. I think this guy's got a really good... I love that he's made 2 movies and they're both great. I just love that.
Yeah.
I do too.
Cool.
And they're different.
Any final thoughts on Midsommar before we wrap it up here?
No, just go see it if you haven't. Just watch it.
Yeah. I wish I'd watched
twice
it
in a row.
earlier. Yeah.
Jacob Walsh calls it the feel-good movie of the year.
I'm gonna go to Dragon Con as the May Queen.
Wait a minute.
Gonna build a big.
That's what I was gonna ask.
You should. I don't know why we didn't do those.
Was there a?
There were lots of May Queens at Dragon Con this year.
There was.
Yeah.
Damn it.
There were a lot of people in those. There were a lot of people. I saw a lot of couples where the girl was the May Queen and the guy had like a really cheap bear costume on.
I saw
there were
that.
a lot. Yeah.
Do better.
I figured that the end of the movie was that the girl got eaten by the bear, but that is not what happened.
Mm-mm.
No.
You'll have to see it to find out what happened. You'll have to see it.
For more on that, watch Midsommar. Yeah. All right. Well, listen. Fantastic. Hey guys, happy 4-year anniversary. Thank you so much to Zombie Sailor for joining us. Yeah. And we got
It's a weird episode.
No, it's fine.
It's a weird mix of like we're talking toys, we're talking Congo, we're talking Midsommar.
Why is there no Midsommar toys?
God.
They're actually the company put out, like, I tried to get it, but it sold out. It was like a very limited thing. The company put out like a figure of the bear in the cage.
Oh, A24 did? Yeah.
A24 did, but it was like a very, very limited thing.
Oh man.
Well, we'll just get you. I bet we can get a bootleg bear toy and put it in a
bear,
cage.
put it in a cage. Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. That bear, it's just a normal bear. I've seen lots of bears that look like that. Great stuff. Great score. I know the soundtrack's available. I definitely recommend that. Watch it again. Let us know your thoughts. Oh, I have to pick our winner from last week. So anybody who's been listening to the podcast last week knows that we asked everybody to tag us on Instagram when you are listening to Yes Have Some Podcast.
And you'll win a trip to Sweden with 4 of your friends.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. What do you think? Tell them what they've won. Okay, so we were going to pick a winner, and I've got our winner. I've got it listed right here. And that person is, and this is somebody who is in group therapy and on Instagram and has been a big supporter of the podcast lady. She's a lady. It's Instagram, BeetleNut089. And she's great. And she's in Facebook. She's a huge Beatles fan. She's a big YHS fan. Yeah. So at BeetleNut089, send me, Craig, a direct message on Instagram or Facebook, or get in touch with me, and or I can just reach out to you, and we're going to send you some YHS merch because we really appreciate everybody listening to the show and tagging us.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining.
Thanks for being involved.
Thanks for playing, and also do it again this week. We'll give out another shirt next week. So all you got to do is, while you're listening to Yes Have Some, tag us on Instagram in a main post or your story. And
tell us why.
Tell us why you're listening.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Tell us why you love us.
Tell me why you love me.
What do you like about me?
So congratulations to her. And anything else before we sign off?
Nope.
That's it.
All right, cool. Well, listen, happy anniversary, everybody. Happy 4 years.
Thank you.
Thanks to Zombie Sailor for joining us. Make sure you stay tuned to his Instagram page, Zombie Sailor's Toys, for more information on when you can buy those Congo figures. Jake, we're getting some shipping cases apparently.
Yeah.
Getting them.
That's going to be great. What are we going to do? Frame them? I don't even know.
I'll make a little fort.
Put them in a closet?
Toys?
I don't know.
Dude.
I'm going to get a DTOF for shipping cases.
It's going to be a big DTOF.
I know a couple cats that are going to be very excited about the new cardboard boxes.
Oh, man. Just obsessing over cardboard. That's what our lives have come to. For Abigail Gardner and Jacob Walsh, thank you so much for joining. And from the bottom of my heart, thank you for supporting us Have Some podcast for the past 4 years.
Thank you.
Holy shit.
Yep.
Can you believe we've been doing this for 4 years?
4 years.
What are you
that's
guys
a lot.
thinking?
Yeah, it's insane.
I don't know, man.
It's cool because
I've never been good at keeping a diary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've tried to like start writing stuff, and I can't do it. And recently I was like, maybe I need to start keeping, and then I was like, oh, I've been doing that every week for 4 years.
Chronicling and
what I love is
our life.
we don't have technical difficulties anymore, which is great.
Oh, it's great. After 4 years, you know what we did to celebrate 4 years? We had Skype fucking failed.
Yeah,
that's what we did.
The fact that we even got through this episode is a miracle.
Yeah. So thank you for listening.
And thank you for listening, and thank you for being on this journey with us as we build up to Ghostbusters Afterlife. Ghostbusters 1 came out when I was 3 months old. Ghostbusters 2 came out when I was 5 years old. And Ghostbusters 3 is coming out when I'm 36 years old. So there's a little bit of a gap there.
A little bit. Yeah.
And then there was another Ghostbusters movie that also came out, which is when we started this podcast.
I don't know what you're talking about, Chief.
Oh, I think you know what I'm talking about.
We all started somewhere.
He wants to deny that the movie existed, but it did. I saw it 5 times, and just high-pitched squeal. Thank you. Thank you, Robert Shaw, for that. And we'll let everybody know if Jake and Linda Blair tie the knot this weekend. Today's the day.
Oh, it's going to be...
What if that's the you guys just get married? Like, well, we didn't see this coming.
I just can't stand Linda Blair. I love Linda Blair.
I love her.
I'm gonna get Linda Blair to fall in love with me.
Yes.
I'm gonna propose.
Wait, Jake, you're gonna whittle her a little.
We're gonna get a wedding.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna fucking leave her at the altar.
Oh, okay, tight.
With a she's waiting at the altar crying. Cut to Jake driving down the road in a Corvette for some reason, wind blowing through his hair. The Pazuzu statue is in the passenger seat with the seatbelt on. I love that. And it says just married with DVD copies of The Exorcist trailing behind you.
Yeah. I chose Pazuzu over
just
you.
Possessed.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
Oh man.
That's great. No, but you should give her one of those little love wooden things from Midsommar.
Yeah, put a love spell on her.
Just, you know,
Whenever
you don't have to
she's
do the
not
whole
looking,
thing.
somebody grab her drink.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Are we doing this?
Get that all set up.
Are we doing it?
It's a big camp prank
Oh
on
boy.
Linda
Yeah, we're just
Blair.
gonna do. Then we're gonna do camp pranks to Richard Dreyfuss too.
Cool.
I don't know what they're gonna be, but they're gonna be fun.
We're gonna make fun of civics.
Yeah, I'm gonna go up to Richard Dreyfuss and be like, you know what? I think civics are stupid. And
I don't know what it is.
I hope they don't teach them in school.
So you can keep your $20, mister.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm glad Richard Dreyfuss is gonna be there, and I'm gonna try to get something signed. And
Yeah.
yeah,
steps.
it's gonna be good. All right, well, we'll see everybody next week. Thank you so much for joining. To Linda Blair and all you lovers out there, turn on your radio and request all the songs that make you fall asleep at night thinking about your lover, Jake, and his Pazuzu statue.
Sweet dreams are made of this.
What is happening?
Well, because she always writes sweet dreams.
Fuck that. That is what Robert Englund should write on an autograph, not Linda Blair's sweet dreams.
Yeah.
It's the middle of the day. What a
Yeah.
convention. I'm not going to sleep right now,
Yeah,
Linda.
your mother sucks cocks in hell.
Yeah, write that.
Write that.
Also, nobody wants your pamphlet.
Yeah, we don't care.
Pamphlet. However you say that damn word.
We love you, Linda.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.